My partner mentioned that her astrologer believes our horoscopes aren't compatible and I ought to rethink things. I responded that we should always listen to the celestial signs. Afterward, I dispatched a gratitude message to the astrologer along with a substantial present, appreciating him for rescuing me. Her response when he contacted her to convey the positive update. I, a 30-year-old man, had been betrothed to Natalie, 28, for 8 months. We'd been a couple for 3 years in total. The ceremony was scheduled for the following spring. Initial payments made, location reserved, everything arranged. Natalie developed an interest in astrology roughly a year back. It began modestly. Everyday zodiac apps, lunar cycles, natal maps. I wasn't bothered. People require pastimes. She'd share my zodiac forecast during morning meals, discuss Mercury in retrograde. Innocent activities. Then she discovered celestial insight from Gautam, an astrologer boasting 50,000 Instagram fans who offered life purpose analyses for $300 each. She scheduled one for her birthday. If it pleased her, fine by me. Following that appointment, she became fixated. Purchased gemstones, smudging herbs, began scheduling key choices based on astral positions. Invested another $500 in a partnership synergy evaluation that needed both our exact birth moments. My mother searched through old records to locate mine. A couple of weeks prior, Natalie returned from her regular consultation appearing grave. We have to discuss the nuptials. My heart sank. What's the issue? Gautam analyzed our combined horoscope. Our constellations. They're not harmonious for matrimony. What exactly? She produced these illustrated diagrams filled with icons. Specifically, your Mars conflicts with my Venus. My Saturn counters your Moon. We possess difficult alignments indicating basic mismatch. I examined the documents. Nat, we've shared 3 years. We work well together. I believed that as well. But Gautam indicates these elements might remain inactive until sparked by significant pledges. Wedlock could unleash all our fate-related obstacles. So, what's your point? I believe we should delay. Perhaps reevaluate completely. I must contemplate what the cosmos is communicating. I remained seated, gazing at the lady I adored, who was prepared to discard our bond because some online personality claimed our worlds were clashing. If that's your conviction, then indeed one should respect the heavens. She appeared comforted. You get it. I figured you would. This isn't regarding us. It's concerning astral timing. Completely comprehend. Take whatever duration you require. That evening, as she stayed at her companion's home reflecting, I investigated celestial insight from Gautam. Quite revealing. Located his Venmo, PayPal, even his review site. Indeed, stargazers have review platforms, it seems. I composed a note. Gautam. Appreciation for your latest consultation for Natalie. Surname. Your observations on our mismatch preserved me from what evidently would have been an astral error. As a sign of thanks, kindly receive this contribution to your work. The cosmos operates in enigmatic manners. Dispatched $1,000 through PayPal with the note, far exceeding his standard charge. Then I anticipated. Update 1. Gautam phoned Natalie right away. She was at her job when it occurred, but her colleague Jess informed me afterward. Jess and I get along. She views the astrology as nonsense too. Evidently, Natalie's device rang amid a conference. She ignored it. It rang repeatedly. Eventually, she excused herself. Returned 20 minutes later, pale as snow. All good? Jess inquired. Gautam received a gratitude payment from Wayne. $1,000 for rescuing him from an astral blunder. Impressive, Wayne handled it smoothly. Excessively smoothly. Why would he appreciate the individual who separated us? Perhaps he's dealing with it uniquely. Natalie wasn't convinced. She contacted me instantly. Why did you compensate Gautam? To express thanks, he revealed truths to me. To what? To the reality that you'd prefer to rely on an outsider's planetary analysis over 3 years of genuine partnership. Quite eye-opening. I aimed to protect us from upcoming distress. Objective achieved. She disconnected. Then the messages commenced. You're acting childish. This is coercion. You don't grasp mystical direction. Gautam claims you're attempting to sway the analysis with funds. That final one amused me. Sway the analysis? The analysis was completed already. I merely appreciated him for it. But here's the intriguing part. Gautam, likely sensing remorse over the large sum, contacted Natalie once more that night, proposing a harmony consultation gratis. Stated the cosmos could have routes they hadn't examined. Abruptly, the constellations weren't immutable. Amusing how that functions. Natalie arrived at my residence at 10 p.m. Gautam mentions possible solutions. Ceremonies we can perform. Gems we can adorn. I assumed we were astrologically mismatched. That was prior. He delved further. There are methods to bypass tough alignments. How opportune. What altered from this morning to now? He reflected on our bond. Occasionally, preliminary analyses may be partial. I nearly pitted her. Nearly. Nat, are you listening to your words? This morning we were fated to fail. Now that finances are involved, suddenly optimism emerges? You're distorting matters. The funds are unrelated. Then provide one motive that excludes planets. Why we shouldn't wed. Quiet. Extended quiet. The constellations. A single, genuine motive. She couldn't, since there wasn't any. Unless. I ought to depart, she stated eventually. I require contemplation on this. She exited. But I continued probing. Something seemed amiss beyond merely the astrological absurdity. Why was she so keen to discover and escape? So I did what any doubtful individual might. I reviewed our joint streaming service records. Update 2. Streaming records showed curious trends. Programs I'd never encountered viewed at odd times. Film on open relationships in contemporary society. Show titled Affection Beyond Boundaries. All consumed while I was employed or resting. Then I examined her social media follows. Recent additions over the last 2 months. Various life mentors and partnership freethinkers. One profile was notable. Xander Moon, personal guide. Focuses on mindful separation and moral open relationships. His recent upload? A self-portrait from a known cafe. Identical to the one Natalie visits each Wednesday for creative sessions. I'm not boastful about my next action, but I needed certainty. Wednesday arrived. I reported ill to my job. Stationed opposite the cafe at 2 p.m. As expected, Natalie's vehicle arrived at 2:15. 2:20, Xander Moon entered. They conversed for 2 hours. Much close proximity, arm contact. At a moment she was emotional. He was consoling her. Quite consoling. I captured images, not for vengeance, for understanding. That night, Natalie messaged, Gautam desires an urgent meeting. He indicates the cosmos is transmitting conflicting messages about us. Can we converse afterward? I consented. But initially I had my own meeting to arrange. I contacted Xander Moon. Hello. I'm curious about your mindful separation offerings. My betrothed and I are experiencing uncertainties. She referenced you assisted her acquaintance with comparable matters. Can we convene? He replied promptly. Certainly. I have time Friday at 3. Initial discussion is complimentary for recommendations. What's your acquaintance's name? Natalie. She praises your Wednesday meetings highly. Extended delay. Then, I lack a client called Natalie. My error. Must be confusing with another. See you Friday. He withdrew an hour later. Timetable issue emerged. Curious. Natalie appeared post her urgent meeting with Gautam appearing optimistic. He discovered a resolution. If we execute a union ceremony during the upcoming lunar phase and you don Moldavite, it might balance our elements. How much for this ceremony? It's not financial. How much? $1,500. But that covers the gems and a subsequent analysis. I displayed my device, revealed the cafe images. Regarding analyses, what's your view on this? Her expression cycled through various feelings. Shock, fury, resistance, ultimately landing on outrage. You tailed me. You're evading. Xander is an associate. He's aiding me in handling. Handling what? Your handy astrological mismatch. It's not that way. We simply converse. About mindful separation, moral, open partnerships. She turned ashen. You accessed my streaming? Disjoint. Difficult to overlook affection beyond boundaries in the ongoing section. I was inquisitive. That doesn't imply Nat cease. Simply cease. Reveal the facts. Do you wish to wed me or not? She collapsed. Not sorrowful weeping. Irritated weeping. I don't know. All right? I don't know. Things progressed rapidly, and then I encountered Xander at Serena's gathering, and he expanded my perspective on various partnership forms, and I began doubting all. So you employed astrology as an exit? Gautam's analysis was legitimate. The mismatches are legitimate. But somehow resolvable for $1,500? You're portraying it as schemed, wasn't it? She seized her bag to exit. I need distance to reflect. Take whatever distance necessary. But to clarify, we're finished. The ceremony is cancelled. You can't simply, I can and I am. The heavens have declared. Recall? She closed the door forcefully. I assumed that concluded it. I was mistaken. Update 3. Following my formal cancellation of the ceremony, Natalie entered recovery mode. Shared on social platforms about drifting apart and joint choices. Very serene. Very adult. Until the invoices arrived. In her view, we were merely delaying. She continued reserving wedding elements. Enhanced the floral arrangements. Included a beverage session. Reserved a vacation accommodation in Bali. All charged to my payment card she retained for ceremony costs. $8,000 in fresh expenses. Post-separation, I contested all. Forwarded the payment firm our message threads where she confirmed the ceremony was terminated. They refunded the amounts. Suppliers pursued her for initial payments. That's when she erupted. You're undermining our prospects, she yelled via call. What prospects? You concluded it with zodiac diagrams. I was perplexed. Xander states perplexity is element of development. Then develop using your personal payment card. She attempted a different approach. Peered with Gautam. Yes, the stargazer visited my residence. Complete mystical consultant attire, loose garment, meditation necklace, the ensemble. Wayne, he uttered gravely, I've conferred with the sacred awareness. Your ample contribution established a fate connection. The cosmos desires to compensate your trust. My trust in what? In astral knowledge. Natalie's journey caused her uncertainty, but your embrace demonstrates mystical development. The constellations now support reunion. I glanced at Natalie. You fetched your stargazer to persuade me to accept you again? He demanded to accompany. The diagrams. Gautam, I interjected. Brief inquiry. What shifted in the heavens from 2 weeks past to present? He proceeded with descriptions of planetary shifts, retrograde conclusions, astral changes, verbal confusion meant to bewilder. Fascinating. And this is unrelated to Natalie facing $8,000 in ceremony invoices, quiet, or that she likely offered you a portion of the ceremony funds for mystical offerings. Gautam's expression flushed. You're doubting my honesty. I'm doubting why the cosmos abruptly favors us together after I halted the funds. He departed angrily. Natalie remained, attempting one additional appeal. Wayne, please. I committed errors, but I cherish you. Do you? Or do you cherish the existence I supplied while you determined if exclusivity fit you? That's unjust. Neither is employing fabricated mismatch to gain time while you investigate alternatives with Xander. Nothing occurred with Xander. Yet. But you were progressing toward it. The films, the literature, the cafe meetings. You sought authorization to stray with astral endorsement. She collapsed. Authentic weeping now. I became frightened. Okay? The ceremony seemed so conclusive. Xander caused me to believe I was restricting myself. Gautam provided an escape that wasn't my responsibility. I'm apologetic. I think you are. Apologetic it didn't unfold as intended. She departed. But the narrative continues. Because Gautam, evidently sensing his standing was harmed, chose to reveal details on his social media. Final update. Gautam shared a patron nightmare tale on his Instagram. Avoided names, but specifics were clear. When patrons exploit mystical direction for control, had an individual lately requested mismatch analysis to evade pledge. Then became distressed when companion embraced the direction elegantly. Funds can't purchase genuine astral knowledge, mystical evasion, astrology morals. His audience devoured it. Responses flooded about comparable incidents. The entry gained minor popularity in stargazing communities. Natalie was humiliated. Her whole social circle tracked Gautam. All recognized it concerned her. She attempted recovery, but how to dispute your personal mystical consultant? Then Xander, observing the turmoil, separated publicly. Shared about true bonds and sincere exchange in mindful partnerships. Restricted Natalie everywhere. The ceremony suppliers, still seeking initial payments, noticed Gautam's entry. Began responding about patrons who utilize spirituality to perpetrate deceit. Labeled regional ceremony communities. Natalie's standing in the ceremony sector was destroyed, but the true fate arrived from an unforeseen origin. Recall that $1,000 I transferred to Gautam? It appears, receiving substantial contributions for particular analyses breaches certain moral standards in his expert stargazing group. Yes, that's existent. Somebody notified them. Not me. Likely a rival. He became paused awaiting examination. He accused Natalie of jeopardizing his honesty. Shared another tale. Insight gained. Never permit patrons to control analyses regardless of the inducement. Honesty above earnings. Pausing to readjust with my mission. Natalie messaged me. Satisfied now? You've demolished all. I didn't demolish anything. I appreciated a person for his assistance. All else was merely constellations harmonizing. This isn't amusing. Gautam refuses to consult me anymore. Xander considers me harmful. The ceremony suppliers are bothering me. My companions believe I'm deceptive. Per your natal map, this was likely unavoidable. I despise you. Mercury must be retrograde. She restricted me. At last. Epilogue. From what I gathered via shared acquaintances, Natalie is seeing somebody fresh. A man who avoids categories and views astrology as constraining. She shares frequently about true affection and advancing through disorder. Beneficial for her. Gautam relaunched as a mystical reality mentor. Avoids synergy analyses now. Exclusively individual advancement. His audience halved, but he appears more content. Me? I'm betrothed once more. To Simone, a statistics expert who finds zodiacs entertaining but wouldn't schedule a meal around them, much less an existence. When I narrated this tale, she chuckled intensely until tears flowed. Hold on, she truly believed celestial bodies decided your match? Utterly earnest. Cost a ceremony. Finest $1,000 you ever invested then. She's correct. Occasionally the cosmos does transmit indicators. Like when your betrothed requires invented mismatch to sidestep actual pledge. That's not Mercury retrograde. That's merely somebody revealing their essence. The constellations didn't terminate our bond. They merely offered Natalie a pretext to display her authentic nature. And for that, I truly owe Gautam appreciation. Edit, as folks inquired, yes, I recovered all ceremony initial payments. Suppliers were sympathetic once informed of the complete narrative. And no, I don't genuinely think the constellations influenced this. But occasionally when somebody demands crediting everything to astral powers, the optimal reply is to allow those powers unfold. Organically.